Things are completely spiraling. They've completely spiraled. I feel like I have control over absolutely nothing in my life, and I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. Welcome back to the Best Self Therapy YouTube channel. You know this is your home for the tools, tips, tricks, skills, strategies, whatever it might be, to help you navigate whatever mental health battle you're facing so you can begin or return to living a better life as your best self. I'm curious, that narrative that was shared at the beginning, does that sound familiar at all to you? For those of you who are struggling with anxiety, it's not uncommon to feel like things are spiraling out of control, which then leaves you feeling like I have control over nothing. I can't grasp onto anything. I can't ground myself to anything. I can't tell you how many times I've asked clients who are working with anxiety of asking them, what do you feel is in your control right now? And they say nothing. So this video this month is to help you have a tool to allow you to regain some of that control. There are a bunch of different exercises that you can use to help you with this, but this one in particular is one I've been using with clients a lot lately, so I want to bring it to you so you can start implementing it as well to regain that sense of control when struggling with anxiety. The exercise that I'm going to walk you guys through today is called the Locus of Control exercise. So a brief background on what locus of control is. So locus of control simply is, where are we placing our focus on what we're trying to control? So there's an external locus of control and there's an internal locus of control. So your external locus of control is everything going on outside of you. Your internal locus of control is what's happening internally. More often than not, humans have a tendency to focus on the external locus of control because those are the things that are directly impacting us and that feel very aggressive, feel very in our face. So we put a lot of energy in trying to control what's outside of us. However, we know at the end of the day, the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves. So wanting to shift that internal locus of control, which involves our thoughts, feelings, and actions on whatever's happening externally, we want to shift our focus to that and navigate from that place. There are some things that can happen in between the external and the internal called influential behaviors. So these are things that we can do to influence the outcome externally. But again, knowing at the end of the day, even if we do those influential behaviors, we cannot control what happens outside of us. The only thing we can control is our thoughts, feelings, and our actions. So this exercise that I'm going to walk you through helps you identify, with whatever situation you're facing, helps you identify what are the external locus of control, what is out of my control, what is within my control, what is that internal locus of control, and are there any influential behaviors that you might be able to implement? And then the focus goes to, let's look at and expand on and really put energy into the internal locus of control. So we're going to walk through this exercise. I'm going to give you a visual. So pull out a pen and paper, whatever makes sense to you, so we can walk through this exercise so you guys know how to use this the next time anxiety takes over and you can reclaim that control. Okay, you've got a pen and paper, so we can go through this exercise together. I'm going to put up a bunch of different visuals so you can see what the execution of this exercise looks like, and obviously I'm going to walk you through it as well. But your starting point, it's going to look like this. So you're going to have two circles, kind of a Venn diagram, right? You're going to have one for external, one for internal, and then that in between, that shared circle is kind of be those influential behaviors. So we want to label at the top the external and the internal so we know what sides we're looking at. And then also at the top, somewhere at the top, anywhere, I put in the left-hand corner, but it can be wherever you want, you're going to want to identify the situation, right? We want to know what we're looking at, right? So we can properly identify what's within our control and what's not, and what are some influential behaviors that we can implement, if any. So this is going to be your starting visual. So go ahead and draw this out, put that on paper, do whatever you need to, and then when you're ready, you can pause this if you need to, and then if you're ready, come back, restart it. Otherwise, if you're ready, let's just keep going through. So your next visual is going to look something like this. Obviously, I want you to identify what is the situation, so go ahead and write that up at the top. And then you're going to start with writing what are the things in this situation that are out of your control. So let's say hypothetically we're using a situation of I have a family function coming up, and I know that some of my family members that I'll interact with can say really rude things. So it's going to be, the situation might be potential rude encounters at a family gathering. That's going to be my example. Use whatever situation you are currently going through that's causing anxiety and leaving you feeling out of control. With that situation, go ahead and now list what are the things that are out of your control. So if I use this example of rude interactions at a family function, things that are out of my control, what people say. I can't control what people are going to say, or if they say anything. That's really the biggest one. Other things I can't control is other people's responses to what happens, people's opinions, right? A lot of this stuff that you're going to identify that's out of your control are typically the things that are causing the anxiety, right? So if I'm sitting here really ruminating about what other people are going to say, I don't have control over what other people are going to say. I don't have control over what other people are going to do. So go ahead, pause the video, take a moment to identify what is not within your control. Next, you're going to identify what is within your control. So this is going to relate to thoughts, feelings, and actions. So while yes, I can't control what people are going to say, I can control ruminating on worrying about what people are going to say. I can also control how I choose to respond to what they say. I can also choose what I want to do once they've said whatever they're going to say, right? So implementing different skills, and this is where, if you want further exploration on this, this is where you and I can connect through a free consultation, anything like that, to really get an idea of like, okay, I know what's in my control and what's not. Now, what skills am I going to utilize to make sure I stay in that internally focused locus of control? So continue to identify what is within your control, and this is everything within you, thoughts, feelings, and actions. So go ahead and take some time and identify what's within your control in regards to the situation that you're looking at. And then lastly, I want you to look at the middle section, which is those influential behaviors. So is there anything that you can do to influence what the outcome might be externally? So for example, in my example of possible rude encounters at a family function, an influential behavior I can do is set a boundary, right? So if I'm getting rude comment after rude comment after rude comment, I can choose, it's within my control to set a boundary and say, if these rude comments continue, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Can I actually control them and make them leave and stop talking? No, I've set the boundary, right? But I can choose then to, I guess this would be if you could leave, right? Or if these rude comments continue, I am no longer going to come to these functions. Can I make them stop saying the rude comments? No, I can maybe influence the outcome by informing them that I will no longer be coming if these rude comments continue. So take some time to explore the influential behaviors, and this one might feel a little bit trickier. So if you're getting stuck and you want to explore this further, please reach out to me. But take some time to explore the influential behaviors and go from there and see what you come up with. So if you're in this part of the video, by now you have identified what is the situation that is feeling out of control and increasing anxiety. You've identified both what's within your control and what's not within your control. And you've also identified any influential behaviors you might be able to implement to influence the outcome, but then redirect back to that internal locus of control. If you don't have those things identified yet, that's okay. Pause the video quick, take some time to explore it, and then we can move on. Once you have all those pieces identified, now we really want to focus on, okay, did I implement the influential behaviors? Once I do that, I'm really going to shift back to putting my energy to what's within my control. That can be different actions that you want to do, right? Challenging different thoughts. It could also just be, what am I doing to cope with how I'm feeling? Right? So a lot of it could be, your actions could be, I'm going to do some mindfulness things. I'm going to maybe implement the 5-4-3-2-1 method or the progressive muscle relaxation. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. There are videos for those that I have put down below, right? What are you doing to help manage what's coming up for you to slow that anxiety down and to regain control of the situation, which is ultimately you, right? Not letting anxiety take over. Yes, we can use some of those influential behaviors. So part of your control might be reminding yourself, I have implemented some influential behaviors, and now I'm going to come back to what's within my control, which is me. This is one of those things that is easier said than done. So it is going to take some time to get used to, one, recognizing when we are placing our energy on the external, pausing and shifting it back to the influential, which is why this visual can be so nice to be able to come back to. And I would say use it with any situation that's causing anxiety and leaving you feeling out of control. Because having a visual, having something tangible to come back to is the easiest way and the quickest way to be able to stop that anxiety and redirect the focus. So once you have all these things identified, figure out how you want to implement those influential behaviors if they're there, and then really shift the energy back to the internal locus of control and choose one thing at a time. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming if we're like, I'm going to do all of the things. Choose one thing. And maybe that one thing you're choosing is based off of assessment of, based on how I'm feeling, this is what I'm really needing right now. So this is the best way to utilize the tool. Obviously, piece it out, right? Put the ingredients in, mix it up, bake it, right? And then enjoy it, right? Utilize the tool as needed. Hold on to this visual so you have something tangible to go back to, whether you actually have the physical copy or you take a picture of the visual, but something to help pause the anxiety, stop the spiral, and redirect the focus to the internal locus of control so you can start regaining that. I would love to hear how this felt for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is below. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Best Self Therapy. If you want further guidance, more in-depth guidance, more exploration, tools, whatever it might be on this skill or exercise in particular, please don't hesitate to reach out. I do offer a free 15-minute consultation where I can learn a little bit more about where you're getting stuck, where you're struggling, and how I can best help you. So please feel free to reach out if that is something that you would benefit from. I look forward to hearing how this goes for you. If you found this video beneficial, please pass it along to someone else who you believe would benefit from it. If you share it on social media, please be sure to tag me so I can give you a shout out personally. And thank you for playing a part in being what helps people live a better life as their best self. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss any of the information coming. Enjoy as much as you can utilizing this tool, and I hope you find it beneficial. And I will see you in the months to come. Take care.